And so they're literally trying to destroy us. They're trying to destroy me. They're trying to destroy the movement.
Okay, so this is insane. In real time right now, I am watching Patrisse Cullors do a live claiming that I went to her property and demanded to speak to her. And I only way I can describe it is she sounds like she's really scared. We're working on a documentary talking about all of the funding pertaining to Black Lives Matter. Oh my God, I think she's crying on this live, pretending that she was harassed. Like I said very politely to the guys, is there anyone we can speak to? My name's Candace Owens. We never went over the gate. It was just me ringing the doorbell, trying to speak to someone.
All right, guys. So that is Patrisse Cullors breaking down in tears after Candace Owens showed up to her gate, right, of her house to request an interview for Candace Owens' documentary exposing Black Lives Matter. And I want to clear some things up here, okay? Because I've been doing videos recently about how I made it very, very clear that the radical extremists on the left that are protesting at the Supreme Court justice's home in order to intimidate them to not overturn Roe v. Wade, I've made it very clear that that is wrong, okay? But I wanted to find the difference between what Candace Owens is doing versus what the radical extremists on the left are doing. Candace Owens is acting in a way that is journalistic, okay? It's nothing wrong with a journalist showing up to somebody's house to ask them questions. That is very, very, very normal, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. She's not trying to dox Patrisse Cullors. She's not trying to put Patrisse Cullors in any type of danger. She's not trying to intimidate Patrisse Cullors. All she's doing is asking questions, okay? I have no problem with that. The same way I would have no problems with some left-wing journalists showing up to Brett Kavanaugh's house to ask him questions about why he's voting to overturn Roe v. Wade. I have no issues with that. But there's a difference between that and doxing, right, individuals, showing up to their houses, protesting, disturbing the neighborhood, causing all types of ruckus, and trying to intimidate judges, right? There's a big difference between that. So I want people to understand the difference here, okay? So with that being said, we're talking about Patrisse Cullors once again because the walls are closing in on her. And because the walls are closing in on her, she's been doing a lot more interviews because she's trying to clear her name. So we're going to talk about her latest interview with the AP in which she denies any wrongdoing in regards to using the BLM donation funds for personal use. Okay, however, she does make some admissions that raises a whole lot of question marks about whether or not she's telling the whole truth. So I want to talk about it today. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this clip of the interview that AP did with Patrisse Cullors, in which she denies any wrongdoing in regards to misuse of BLM's donation funds. Take a look.
Did you ever receive a salary from the foundation when you were involved, either in the early days or before you left?
No, I never received a salary from the organization, but I did receive consulting dollars from the organization in the early days. And it was about $120,000 that I received. How do you respond to that? That people who think that because you're doing well, that somehow means that you aren't as credible a movement practitioner? I believe that Black organizers who are fighting day in, day out on behalf of Black lives deserve to receive salaries, deserve to receive benefits. In fact, for most of my organizing life, I was not an organizer that received a salary. Have you ever used money from BLM to pay for your home or the homes of your family members or any other funds that were donated to Black Lives Matter to essentially enrich yourself? No, I have never used Black Lives Matter donations to pay for any of the properties that I owned in the past or own right now. You know, the idea that Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation received millions of dollars and then I hid those dollars in my bank account is absolutely false. Is there any truth to the reports that your family has been hired to work at the property that was purchased by Black Lives Matter? While my brother is the head of security, and my mom and sister did work at the property. There are also dozens of other people who work in the organization that are Black folks and are doing amazing work. It's not like I literally, opened up the bank accounts and was like, I'm bringing all my family and friends in. Folks had skill sets. It's been a really bizarre experience to know the truth and to have false and misinformation be spread about me, especially around my own personal resources that I've worked my ass off to attain. We should have understood that, oh yeah, we're saying we're eradicating white supremacy and we're getting millions of dollars to do it. And of course we're gonna get attacked.
Yeah, so unsurprisingly, right, you can't have a Patrisse Cullors interview without her talking about white supremacy, and white supremacy is the reason why she is getting criticized, right? Boo-hoo-hoo, any criticism of me is because the white supremacists are coming after me. Yeah, so what I find interesting about this interview is that she claims that she never received a salary from BLM, okay, in the early days or right before she left. But she claims that during the early days, she received a consulting fee, right, of about $120,000. Now, she didn't say over what time period that was. Was that 1 year? Was that, over, 3 or 4 or 5 years or whatever? But I find it interesting how she received a consulting fee from an organization that struggled to raise a significant amount of money before George Floyd. But she's trying to tell us, she's trying to convince us that after this organization that, again, she took consulting fees from, right, early on, okay, while they were struggling to raise money, after they started raising millions and millions and millions of dollars, I mean, we're talking about tens of millions here, upward estimates of $60 to $90 million. You mean to tell me you didn't take a consulting fee out of that, right? You didn't take a consulting fee out of that? You took one when the organization was barely off the ground, okay, but you didn't take one when the organization started pouring in millions of dollars, okay? Now, again, I believe it when she says she didn't take a salary because she doesn't necessarily have to take a salary. But even if she did take a salary, that's not the issue. It's nothing wrong with people who are running nonprofits to take salaries, okay? It's a job just like any other job, right? Your job is to raise money, to allocate resources, et cetera, right? So, yeah, you deserve to get paid for that, right? You don't do that for free. But the issue is the fact that the communities that are supposed to see this money, that are supposed to be getting these millions of dollars, these chapters in your organization that are supposed to be getting some of this money to help flow into those communities, they're not seeing the money, right? That's the problem. And it seems to me that the only concrete receipts that we have of BLM using the money for anything at all seems to be them buying large houses, right? Buying large mansions, which is what BLM actually really stands for, right? Because they damn sure care about buying large mansions more than they care about black lives, right? Again, whether that's the organization themselves buying mansions or whether that's Patrisse Cullors buying up a whole lot of houses, okay? That's what we're saying. That's the only thing, in my opinion, that it seems like the money's being used for. Now, what I found to be interesting about this AP interview is that they left out probably the most interesting part that will raise a whole lot of questions about whether or not she's actually been truthful in this interview. Probably because the AP is trying to help her save face. As in this same interview, Patrisse Cullors admitted to using the $6 million mansion that they bought in LA, okay, for parties, right? And what I tell y'all the first time I reported that story, that was a party house, right? That's what it's for. It's a party house. That's what it is. So let's read about this because I think that the truth is going to come out here sooner rather than later. Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors has admitted to throwing 2 parties at the organization's swanky $6 million Los Angeles mansion, despite previously suggesting she never used the property for personal gain. Okay, so she lied, right? She tried to say, well, I never used the property for personal use. And then she later admitted, well, I had a couple parties there. I'm telling you guys, the lie here is so deep. I'm telling you. The 38-year-old told the Associated Press on Monday that she hosted her son's birthday party and a gathering to celebrate President Biden's inauguration at the 6-bedroom property earlier last year. So she hosted a birthday party for her son, and she celebrated Biden's inauguration. I wonder how that is working out for her, right? I wonder how that celebration of Biden become president is working out for her. Okay, I mean, it's probably working out pretty great for her. Not working out for the black communities that she claims she cares about so much, though, right? BLM faced a torrent of criticism and backlash last month when it publicly emerged that the organization had secretly purchased the LA mansion, which boasts a home with 6 bedrooms and bathrooms, a swimming pool, a soundstage, and an office space back in 2020. At the time, Cullors said the property was purchased by BLM to serve as a meeting venue and campus. She also issued a statement denying suggestions she lived at the property or taking advantage of it for personal gains. But Cullors, who resigned as BLM's executive director a year ago after spending 6 years at the helm, said she used the property twice for events that weren't business related. In January 2021, Cullors said she was seeking refuge at the property because she'd been receiving threats on her life. During that time, she said she hosted a Biden inauguration party for 15 people, including local BLM chapter members and other prominent supporters of the organization. So she claims she didn't live there, but she also says, well, I was seeking refuge there, right? And while I was seeking refuge, as if she's a refugee. Oh my God, these people in their language games. I also happen to have a 15-person inauguration party for our Lord and Savior, the white man, Joe Biden. While seeking refuge, though, right? Oh my God, man. If you donated to BLM, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I can't really square any other way. You're dumb. I'm sorry. Because I want y'all to understand how silly this sounds. Okay, she said she was seeking refuge. Seeking refuge from who? I'm assuming the white supremacists, right? The white supremacists. So you know what she goes and she seeks refuge from the white supremacists at? She goes to a white neighborhood in LA to get away from the white supremacists. Why she ain't go to the hood? Why you ain't go to the hood and get the gangsters to protect you, right? Get the hood to protect you. Since you so pro-black, you so down with the people, why don't you go to the hood? Instead, you went to a white neighborhood to seek refuge from white supremacists in your nice cushy mansion. Incredible. You can't make this stuff up. Cullors said she also threw a private birthday party for her son at the property in March 2021, and she intended to pay rental fee to BLM. She said she intended to. Intended, key word here. BLM confirmed it had billed Cullors for the birthday party and was reviewing its policies to prevent such use in the future. So they say they billed her for it. Okay, they didn't say when, right? They didn't say she necessarily paid it either, right? She said she intended to pay. BLM billed her, but they didn't say they received payment for it, right? You guys pay attention to the language here. You got to pay attention to the language because these people are good with the language games, okay? They're good with semantics. Just like she said, well, I didn't put any money from the BLM bank account into my bank account, right? Basically saying, look, there was no direct transfer of funds here. That is objectively false, right? But again, she's not saying that, hey, you know what? Some of the properties that BLM has purchased may have been used for personal reasons, or maybe saying that, hey, you know what? Maybe I may have laundered the money. Okay. Maybe I moved it from the BLM bank account to an LLC, you know, AKA my consulting firm, right? With my lesbian wife. And then maybe that found a way into my personal bank account. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I just know it wasn't a direct transfer. You got to pay attention to the language here. Cullors acknowledged in her AP interview that she had never used the compound in that way. Quote, I look back at it and think that probably wasn't the best idea, she said. I wonder why the AP left that out. Why did you leave that part out of the recorded interview for? Right? Again, probably to try to help her save face. When the purchase of the luxurious $6 million property first emerged in a New York Magazine report, the organization reportedly tried to, quote unquote, kill the story. According to internal BLM memos, one strategy memo on how to deal with the story reportedly suggested it might be used as an influencer house where artists can congregate. So basically, the influencer house story is just their cover-up. Right? Because we know what the real actual story is here. They're using this as a party house. Okay. Lord knows what type of activities are going on in here. Right? I mean, BLM is run by a bunch of lesbian women. No. Kind of freaky deaky stuff at this property. We had no idea. They have no idea. The article revealed that the residence was purchased by Dane Pascal 2 weeks after BLM received $66.5 million from its fiscal sponsor. Pascal is the financial manager for an LLC operated by Cullors and her spouse, Janaya Khan, Janaya and Patrisse Consulting. Cullors at the time slammed the report about the home as quote-unquote racist and sexist attack on the movement. In a new interview with the AP, Cullors said she made mistakes and regrettable choices, but adamantly denies claims she personally benefited from leading BLM, including the post-prior reports she had purchased homes for herself and members of her family. Quote, the idea that the foundation received millions of dollars and then I hid those dollars in my bank account is absolutely false. She told AP, that's a false narrative. It's impacting me personally and professionally that people would accuse me of stealing from black folks. She doubled down by saying no one else in leadership ever misused BLM millions of dollars in donations despite allegations of financial improprieties. Well, I can tell you right now, you misused the funds when you used it to buy mansions, right? In the United States and Canada, right? That's a misuse of funds right there. That's $12 million that you use for something that has no impact on black people whatsoever, right? No impact on the so-called black communities that you want to save. None at all. You know what you could have used that $12 million for, right? You could have started a venture fund where you could have gave some black businesses some startup capital, right? Or some seed money or something. Okay, that would have been more impactful than using it to buy yourself a party house. In an interview, Cullors admitted BLM was prepared to deal with the influx of donations in the wake of the George Floyd's death in the summer of 2020, and that the organization was slow to build the necessary framework. Yeah, you guys thought you were rich. That's what happened. You thought you were rich. Because if that's the case, you should have just said, listen, we just got in a whole lot of these funds. It's going to take time for us to actually distribute the funds and to use them properly, right? So because of that, it's going to take some time for the communities to see the funds, but rest assured, we're going to use these funds properly. It's just going to take time. But you know, it didn't take them any time. It took them no time to use the funds to turn around and go buy mansions with it, right? Took them no time to figure out what they want to do with the funds when it came to that, okay? But it took them so much time to figure out how to get the funds to their chapters in the communities that they claim they're trying to help. Again, the fact that she lied about this, about using that business property for personal use, the fact that she lied about it tells me that she's lying about a whole lot more stuff. It is only a matter of time before that information comes out. I'm telling you, the walls is closing in on this woman and she is sweating bullets, right? That's why she broke down crying on Instagram Live, because Candace showed up to her house. She knows what is coming. Jail time. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.